Dear followers and students, we will talk in this part of our lecture about the life cycle of an information system. Every object around us has a life cycle. We produce it somewhere for certain purposes. We use it, and at the end we get rid of it. Also for systems, we do the same thing. If we consider a car as a system, we produce a car somewhere, we use it, and we get rid of it. We pay attention these days to recycle the products. But with information system, we have some special issue, because an important part of the information system are intangible. We cannot touch it. It is related to software. It is related to programs. And nowadays we can use services on the web. And to finish using these web services, we can only stop using it. It's enough. We remember together that the information system is related to a real system. A real system could be school, hospital, it could be also car, it could be a factory, it could be a city. But in our courses we will concentrate more in urban information system, even though the phases of the life cycle of the information system are the same, if it is urban or not. If you remember, we have a system, a real system in the world, and we have a real management system, so we have someone or some techniques to manage this system, and there is data always, some type of feedback from the system to the manager or to the management techniques in order to control the system. And we say that with information system we get huge quantity of data, and we put this data in use in order to facilitate the management of the system. It is not necessary to give this information to the high managers. Every person can manage this system, can participate. It is at all the levels. It is not only here management, it is in the wide meaning. It is not only the manager. So we want to have a layer to treat the data over the system. This will be our information system. What are the phases? The phases usually of the production of information system, it is similar to a software. We will start, as you see, from the inside of the graph with a spiral. We start from the point, from the sector of the analysis. We start with analysis. What does it mean? We start to discover, to understand, to make communication. We should understand the system before creating the corresponding information system. So we start to understand the real system. After this phase, we have the second sector. It is design. What we will do with the design, we will create the suitable information system, the basic elements of this system. After that, we have the implementation. What does it mean, the implementation? That means to create the useful code, to find the suitable object that match with our goal. When we talked about the tasks of the engineer, we talked about the analysis, but in the same time we said that we should know the technology. in order to make use of this technology in our purposes. Here it is just the same thing. We have the design and we use the suitable code. We write the suitable information code. We use the suitable database management system. We use the suitable sensor. We use the suitable languages, procedures, web services in order to realize our design. After that, we have the phase of testing. So we write the code, we choose the sensor. After that, we try to verify if our implementation is made correctly, if our design is correct. So during the phase of testing, we may have some problems. We will correct the errors, we will improve our system, and we will deploy it. So we will put our system in work. If we create an information system for a hospital or for a school, we try to test it, but usually when we make the test, we don't make the test in the real system, but in a simulated system. After that, we deploy it. If all the tests succeed, we put the system in service. So we deploy it. With the real employment of the system, we will find always some problems. So we'll try to improve the system. So if you see, we go from inside, we make the first phase of design, implementation, test, deployment. After that, we continue again in the sector of analysis. So we go after the first prototype, we test it in the real world. After that, we remake the analysis in order to discover what is good and what is not good in our system in the real application. After that, we improve the design, we improve the implementation, we improve the testing, and we make another prototype. We continue these steps to obtain the final product. These phases are similar with other systems, but information systems these days are related to other part of the real system. Even if we want to make a building, we have similar things. You will study, perhaps you study this in the project management, for example. You will find similar steps. In most of other systems, if we don't talk about information system, we should think also about the maintenance. Even in information system, we should think about that. But perhaps the maintenance for materials is more important than software. We should, if we have hardware parts of our system, we should think about the decomposition. If we use only software in our information system, it is not a problem, the decomposition. But if we have, for example, if we adopted some technology in the metro station, for example, if we change this technology or if we change our system, we should change the tools that we use. For example, you know, during the COVID-19, when we changed the payment method, we changed also the reader. So most of the payment cards today are changed in order to accept a wireless payment. Other possible phases, it is related to project. It is planning. We can have a feasibility study to know if we have an enterprise and we want to produce information systems, so we can study the feasibility, if it's good or not to make this project regarding the cost. When we analyze, there is sub-phases. We can say they are specification requirements. So planning, requirement specification, delivery, it may be an important how we will make the delivery of our information system. The installation, we perhaps in some enterprises it is important how we will install. When we will install, we should have a plan to install. Training, sometimes the people who will use the information system do not have the experience. The maintenance, as we talked before, so perhaps from time to time we should improve our information system in order to adapt with the new needs. Decompositions, as I said, so sometimes we have the resources of the information system, the hardware resources, and if we have if we want to decompose the system, we should pay attention how we will get rid of these parts. Analysis is the first step of the information system life cycle. The goal is to know what does the requested system do. So we should know what is needed. So we should know what is the real system and what we need as information system. We should understand the purpose of the system. We should understand the real system, and we should understand the purpose of the information system. We should precise the real components of the system, and we should analyze the input and output of each component in the system and the overall input-output. We should understand the control mechanism of the system. We should understand the current systems, the current information system in the enterprise that we will analyze. We should understand the needs of each user, perhaps the needs of the manager, the needs also of the external user. We should anticipate extensions and expansion of the system. We should pay attention that our system will be changed during the time, and we should preview this changement, because now with the technology everything is being changed, and we should preview this changement. If not, the life of our system will be very short. So what are the goals of the analysis? They are to understand the current flow of data through the system. We should not, especially, we should not concentrate when we analyze the real system, we should concentrate on the flow of data, because we will create information system. It is related to data. So we should answer to the question, what is the requested system doing? We should understand the application domain modeling. So we should, because the application is not the same. It depends on the domain of the application, because our system have some experience in the domain of the application. If we use, for example, some tools, some informatic tools to use in the school, in a primary school, it is not as we use it in the secondary school. It is not as we use it for elderly people. So it is related to the interfaces with users. We should analyze the existing and the implementation constraints. Sometimes we have conditions in using. Perhaps if we work in a bank, perhaps the treatment of data may be easy, but the rights to access is very important. It is not the same if we make another information system to a school and we want the data to be open for everybody, for the public. What we make during the analysis, we make abstraction and separation of problems. So we try to understand the system, we try to separate the problems, and we try to make some abstractions of the real structure of the existing system. What are the output? Conceptual model. It is a model that helps us to understand. And we use standard diagrams in order to understand this model. This is a very simple example of a result of the analysis. In this example, we can see that there is student, there is department, there is year, there is professor. We can find the relationship easily with the first view. We can understand that it is related to a school. So it is very simple diagram. Usually they are more complex than that, and with some 100 diagrams we can understand a complex system. The next step, it is design. What are the goals of the design? It is not what is the system, what is how to do the system, how to do the information system. This is the question now, how to create our information system. In this phase, we'll try to know how our system will satisfy the needs. So, in this phase, what we do, we try to define the general architecture of the information system, and we will try to define the role of each component of the information system, and we should try what is the input of each component, what is the output of each component, what we should process, what we should do inside this component, and we should know the constraint about this component. So we should know, for example, what type of data should be hidden, what type of data should not be hidden, what the general algorithm that we are allowed to use, where we should put the data, who will use this data, etc. What is the output of the design phase? It is a logic model using standardized tools. Also, it is another type of diagrams. Most of time they are more detailed diagrams. As you see, in the previous slides we saw the results of the analysis, and we have a square in which we put student. As results of the design, we should precise the details about this student, because we should, after that, we should realize something to correspond. We should realize something that corresponds to a student. So here we should say, for example, a student should have a first name. We should precise that it is at the maximum it is 20 letters, even if some students may have 21 or 20 letters in special cases. But here we should decide how we will implement later our system. Here we say that first name 20 letters, last name 20 letters, birthday it should type of date, year it should be between 1 and 5. We precise that student can register, and when he registers, he give the name of that department, and perhaps we should have a result, if he is accepted or not, etc. The third phase, it is the implementation. What is the implementation? It is the realization of the system. It is the realization with real code. So the implementation is the realization of the logic model by programming language, database management system, etc. So we try to realize the needed system using software and perhaps hardware. If we need some sensors, we should put the sensor. We should use the sensor. If we say that we need a specific protocol of communication, we should precise this system of communication. What is the output? It is a physical model. It is standardized diagrams, collection of implemented modules, documentation that explains the contents of the implementation, documentation that explains the use. So it is very important, the documentation. It is a part of the implementation. So we try to realize, because in the design step we defined the general architecture and the main aspects of each component. Here we realized each component and we can verify that it matches with the other component in order to satisfy the global needs of the system. As an example, we can see in the previous steps we gave an example about a student. It was a simple square in a phase of the analysis. There are more detailed information in the phase of the design, and here in the phase of the implementation, it could be create table, students, ID, it is from integer type, not null, it should but not be empty. We add ID here, even if it does not exist in the design. First name, we precise that it is 20 liter, it should but not be null. Last name, birthday, from date type, year in numerical, so it is between 1, 2, 3, one of 5 values. Primary key, so always the table should have a reference, it is the ID. This is a real code from database management system. This is from SQL. We have further steps, but we will not, for you, we will not go in the details of the other steps.